morning, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and it's a sort of nasty little morning. Let me put it this way. I'm not wearing my summer sandals. It's not raining, but it's chilly, I would say. Oh yeah, it is. It's 14 degrees in Canadian time and 56 in American. Actually, it's dropped down to 13 as I did that. So that's what it feels like, a little on the chillier side. Not cold, but just like, enough that I put my raincoat on. So, as we know, fall is on the way. I'm hoping you all had a great evening. I had a frustrating evening. I went to go and upload well, first of all, my Canucks played. For those of you who don't know, I am a hockey fan. And we had the first of the exhibition games last night, and we lost. But that's okay. These exhibition games are for us to test out the various players and find out the best of the best. And I understand that. And a couple of new players on the team that really... I love it when the more mature players give the young players a chance to score. And then it's such fun to see when they do. Because, they get to say, even if they never stay in the team, they get to say they actually scored a goal as a Canuck. And I think that is so wonderful of the seasoned players that they do that. Now, I must admit that I did watch an awful lot of it with my eyes closed. I was really tired when I got home last night. So I did try and watch. I think I watched the first period. So I watched a third of it. I fell fast asleep. And then I woke up. Well, no, I started to try and upload. That's what I was trying to show you. I started to try and upload videos, but something in all the technology and all that we've been doing, tweaking and everything else, something has got hold of my computer. There's no doubt about that. And I'm struggling with it. And so much so that I needed to go back to my previous laptop to try and upload my video. And I want to tell you something. It made me really appreciate my new laptop, because my new laptop is extremely fast, up to date, and efficient in lots of ways. My old one really is incredibly slow. I mean, that would be putting it mildly. So I go to do what would normally take me an hour max, and it probably took all night, one way and another. It's not that I stayed up all night, but I just did one section of it, went back to sleep, and then when I next woke up, I went back to see how it was going, and I did the next bit of it, because it was just like, no, I don't think so. Luckily, I do wake up a number of times during the night, so it wasn't a sort of a bad thing. But it was just like, my gosh, how long is this going to take? But I did it, and there's the lesson for the day. And the lesson for the day is sometimes it just takes as long as it takes, and getting frustrated, getting angry, it doesn't make it go any faster, unfortunately. It just takes as long as it takes. And that is so true of so many things. And I watch an awful lot of people get very, very frustrated about stuff. Or, worse than that, the expectation. Because we live in this instant gratification world, their expectation is that everything should be fixed in a heartbeat. I want an iPad. Oh, I'll get it tomorrow. It's scary to me. Because I think what we've getting away from in a lot of ways is the value of things, and that it's good to work for things. Now, don't get me wrong, I like my instant gratification too. But I have earned mine. And you're still looking at somebody who does their home renovations on a budget, monthly budget. So, so I think it's just a case of be careful with your children. And I know there's tremendous pressure, because if everybody at school has got an iPad or whatever, an iPhone, then your child obviously is going to want one. And I totally understand the peer pressure aspect of it. So, be aware. What we're actually training people in is this instant gratification. I don't think people are patient anymore. Not to any large degree. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we don't have to be patient. Maybe the world is an instant world now. But I think the ethics of actually learning to work for what you want is a very, very important lesson. So I'm not saying don't get your child an iPod, whatever. What I am saying is let them do tasks to earn it, even if it's not to the value. Make sure they know that it doesn't grow on a tree and it requires effort to get it. Your effort as well. And we had a really frustrating day at work yesterday as well. Everything was going swimmingly, and then suddenly it was, the whole of our network went down. And we spent probably 3 hours minimum without the ability to be able to use computers well, we could use the computer, but not anything that needed the network, which is most of our programs. So you just don't realize how much you use a computer, especially the networks on a computer, until that happens. And it involved everything from the receptionist trying to do her job, and of course the diary section of her job was down because it has to be connected to all offices so that anybody can make an appointment for somebody if needed. So that was the real start of it. And then for the rest of us, nobody could do any accounting, nobody could do any so many of the jobs in the office were just at a standstill. And so it was a magical moment for people to sort of go, what can I do? And it was interesting because I know at least one person went home saying, I can't work, so I'm going home. But what I found really interesting was how many people took the time to do totally different things. Some people actually got their filing totally up to date. It's very exciting. Some people, started planning things or doing whatever. It was really interesting to watch how different people coped with it. And I think there again, you learn a lot about people when when those sort of things happen. We actually did just fine. Now, I've got to admit that I spend a little bit longer, saying hello to people or discussing things than perhaps I normally would have done. Absolutely, because there was no rush. I couldn't do what I needed to do anyway. But we were all incredibly busy. But once everything got connected back up again, and even when we left for work, the email side of it still wasn't working. So it will be or it won't be today. And the difficulty, of course, is that we live now in this instant gratification in the work world as well. In other words, that we and all our clients are used to having almost instant feedback and input. So there may be some delays. And at one stage I know something was going on, and I was thinking, well, if necessary, I will use my, smartphone to actually send that information if it gets to be critical, which luckily it didn't. But we can make plan B. Just because the network's down doesn't mean that there isn't a way of doing it. So, but I do really find it interesting how people react to sort of those sort of things. And you've heard me say that you are the way you drive your car, and I guess in a way you are the way that you deal with stuff like that. Some just throw up their hands in disgust and that's it, I'm going home. And others just get other things done. And others get incredibly stressed and are completely the wrong people. And then here was another bit of humanity and human nature. The person who was organizing the fixing of the network, she was getting quite frustrated because everybody kept coming to her and asking her, can we use the network yet? And she was getting really upset about that. And there was that part of me, and I didn't say it because that would have been the wrong thing for that particular person, but I couldn't help but think, if you kept people informed, they wouldn't be bugging you. In other words, if once an hour or every half hour you just sent out a general, I guess you couldn't send out a general note because the network wasn't working. Yeah, right, well, you could have done it via the telephone. We have a PA system on our telephone. Just to let people know, sorry for the delay, it's still not fixed. Please give us another hour and I'll give you an update. And that way everybody would have known, no, it's not ready, and wait another hour before asking again. And hopefully before that hour is up, we get another update. If you get my feeling about this. However, understand I'm not perfect. Just want to make sure you know that. So, I think it's going to be a fairly busy day today, from everybody trying to catch up with the backlog of yesterday. I still didn't lose any more weight, but I am holding where I am now. To be fair, I didn't do any exercise yesterday. I came home so exhausted. So I'm going to be looking forward to doing that. Hopefully tonight. I also didn't do any of the housework I said I was going to do. So tonight I've got to get a couple of things done before I fade completely. Well, I'm hoping that you all have a wonderful day, and please be aware of how many things in your life you expect to get instantaneously, and the things that you're prepared to save up for. And I think you'll find it quite interesting. And perhaps you could give me some feedback on things that you have saved up for and the feeling that you had once you got to that point. Because my whole sense of this is, for most of us, the reward we get is from the pleasure of actually ownership. And is the pleasure greater? I don't know. I don't know if I could say that the pleasure is greater if you save up for it. But I do believe quite strongly that what is greater is the character building. If we continue just to give our children everything that they want, then they do not learn to struggle. And I say struggle, I don't mean struggle, but they don't learn that some things take time. And therefore the expectations on the parents are heavier. If you think about that, because if they wanted X, Y, and Z and they got it instantaneously, and the next time they wanted the next and they got it instantaneously, then it's going to be, oh, but I want a car. And they're going to expect to get it. And